commenting. Good evening. You have a question that I might know. You have a family with allergies. I have health issues with my liver. I have people telling me to start taking turmeric and ginger, oxymel. I know that turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory, and ginger is really good for your immune system and for your stomach. But the only experience I have with liver is my husband, when he had fatty liver disease, when he was drinking alcohol, which he cured when he quit drinking alcohol. So if you are doing anything that could be causing your liver to be toxic, you want to cut those things out of your diet. Hi, Lisa. Morning. Is it morning time for you? I don't know much about liver. I know that you can do gentle liver detoxes with dandelion root and some different things like that. So look into that. Hello, everybody. Sorry, as soon as I pulled up this live, there was already a question there. So I don't know much about it, but giving my 2 cents. How is everybody doing this week? How's the weather where you are? If you're experiencing 80-degree weather, tell me where you are, because I want to be there. If I can flip this camera around to show you out my window right now. This is out my bedroom window, and we've got a couple feet of snow out there right now. Hello, Kylie. Glad to see you here tonight. Tonight, I thought we would talk about what to do if the power grid goes down. If there's like a widespread power outage or internet goes down, all those types of things. Are you prepared? What is your game plan? I have some ideas. I've watched a few videos on it and written some things down. So I thought if you guys want to get a pen and a piece of paper like I did, so you can kind of jot down the steps, what to do if the grid goes down. Just simple, common sense things that we might forget in an emergency situation or in a situation that can be potentially stressful. It's nice to have a piece of paper or your binder that has the information that you need in it, your planner, things like that, so that you can be prepared and have a list to refer to, because we all know in stressful situations, sometimes it's really hard to think clearly. So having a game plan, and if you guys have ideas too, please, please, please comment. I believe the live chat replay is on for this video. I hope it is. So that way you can watch it back or share it, whatever you want to do with it. And you can write the list, the things that we go over. Good, Cheryl. Hi. You got your pen and paper ready? And occasionally if you see me like doing weird stuff, it's because I'm reading the comments. So I am using my mobile phone to go live from. So what I do is I scroll the comments. I go back because sometimes when I'm talking, I don't read and they pop up quickly sometimes. So I don't read them all at once. And then I go back and I scroll through like I'm doing right now, and I read the comments out loud. So if you don't want anything read out loud, just preface your comment. Oh, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to read them out loud. But you could just say, don't read this out loud, and then comment if you want to. I typically will say hello to everybody and read your comments. So Pamela is vacationing in Florida. Beautiful sunshine and beach. Minnesota here. Snow, snow, snow. Ready for spring. Yes, we are too. First year you've planted tulip bulbs, and you're so excited to see them. What kind of bulbs did I plant? I think I just planted a whole bunch of daffodil bulbs and some other little flowers in our front little flower bed that I would like to see, because they came up a little bit last year, but I really think this year, with all the snow and moisture we've had, a lot more bulbs will pop up this year. Raining in England. Lisa, is there anything new in England? What's the #1 topic to talk about when you're in England? The weather, of course. Of course. That's the only thing you talk about when in England, right? Not always, but that was often my experience when I was there. What are you all drinking on tonight? I'm drinking, as usual, my elderberry immune boosting tea with like stress reducing herbs in it. Can't get enough of all that. And the tea bags often say inspirational quotes, so I share that with you all. Celebrate your successes and failures. Both required great courage. That's something I needed to hear today. How appropriate. Kylie says, I don't know if you already have the info, but can you include tips on how to handle these situations? We also have a baby and a toddler. So food. Food. Make sure you've got some emergency food storage because you don't want hungry babies and toddlers. And you want shelf-stable foods. You can get lots of freeze-dried fruits and things like that. Yeah, but maybe have some cloth diapers on hand or some flour sack towels, things like that for your baby and toddler. So things that you could wash and reuse should there not be items at the store or the ability to buy them. Let's see. The dang rain. It's so funny because it really was when I would talk to locals when we lived in Suffolk, England. It was the main conversation was the weather and what was the weather going to be doing today? What was the weather going to be doing tomorrow? Were you going to be able to get out to the garden plot and do anything with it? Because we had a, my memory is lacking these days, but we had a community garden plot, a plot in a community garden area. What is it called? My brain is blanking, but we had one of those. So we had about an acre. It was really large where we were because we were in West Row, and they had a huge community garden area. And I actually have pictures. I was pregnant with my second, and I had a baby on my back, and I had a rototiller out there tilling way too much of the garden. I tilled way too much because we didn't even use a quarter of it to plant and maintain. But we did have chickens there too. Garden allotment, that's what we had. It was an allotment. So yes, it was always the topic of conversation was, could you get out to the garden and do your tending? Snow, snow, snow. Hi, Mary. Hi, Cindy. Hello, Cheryl and Tiffany, Kylie, and Lisa. Hi, Zoanne. Drinking dandelion with ginger syrup. That's a good liver detoxing combo, isn't it? Oops, I just read it out loud. Sorry, Zoanne. You're further north, so the weather is worse. I can imagine that. We went up to, why is my memory so bad? This is terrible. This is terrible. We went up north. We didn't go all the way to Scotland, but we went way up north. And on that trip, well, first of all, our baby screamed in the car the whole entire time. We had one child at that time, and all of our babies have car screamed, so that's kept me home the first like 18 months of their life. All of them hate the car. I've tried every car seat, I've tried every outfit, every trick in the book, every type of diaper, you name it. I've done it all with all of my babies. They just hated their car seats. So we drove up to the Yorkshire Dales. I knew it was going to come to me. Beautiful. Oh man, it's so beautiful up there. I would live there forever. But it was raining so bad. This was like 10 years ago. It was probably about exactly 10 years ago. It was raining so horribly that it was just flooding everywhere. We had a Jeep at the time, and all the bridges were flooded, but we were able to still drive across the bridge. Probably pretty risky and pretty sketchy, but it was very, very, very rainy and flooding, all in the Yorkshire Dales. Beautiful though. Jessica, yours hate car seats too. I tried everything. I took my second, I took her to cranial sacral therapy. I took her all these places. Part of it was they had reflux really bad before I learned about eliminating dairy. They had reflux horribly, so the car was the worst for them. And then I think maybe riding backwards was scary, and also because we attachment parented, we hold our babies near constantly, or we baby wear them constantly. They contact, nap, and all that stuff, and when you strap them into a car seat on their backs and they can't move, it just makes them furious. But we tried everything. Osteotherapy, therapy, physical therapy, different things for our daughter because we weren't sure what was causing her misery and discomfort in her car seat. But it was awful, 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 awful. And so now Bodhi, he's been tolerating his car seat for about 6 months or so, so we can take, it's been nice because when we have needed to travel for errands, appointments and things like that, he's tolerated it. Yes, kids hate being confined. Reflux, dairy. Dairy causes reflux, chronic reflux and vomiting and spitting up in babies. So if you are a nursing mom or if you are formula feeding, make sure that you don't have a cow dairy, anything in your diet or in the milk that your baby gets, because it's awful. It is awful, awful, awful for babies. And I just know because my babies never spit up when I was 100% dairy free. They did not puke. But if I so much as looked at butter or tasted, you know, anything with hidden dairy in it, within 24, it was usually within 12 hours, it would go through my body into my milk, and then they'd be absolutely miserable, horribly miserable. So you're in the northeast of England, just above Yorkshire. So pretty there, so pretty. I miss it so much. Yes, every one of my 5 babies, except for, well, Bodhi did, but I eliminated dairy with both my last 2 babies because I knew with my first 3, dairy was the issue. With my 3rd baby, I mean, in retrospect, I knew it was the issue. With my 3rd baby, I eliminated dairy when he was around like 4 to 6 weeks old because I tried. I just didn't want to go dairy free. And so around 4 to 6 weeks, I did an elimination diet with him. And the first thing I reintroduced was dairy, and it was right back. Immediate vomiting, puking, and all that. And then I was dairy free before I gave birth to babies 4 and 5 because I knew that dairy was going to make them miserable and they would puke a lot. And so my last 2 babies, they didn't ever develop baby acne. They never had like the pimply baby skin, and they didn't spit up or have reflux. So unless I had dairy, and you know, occasionally I would experiment. I still do that now. I still experiment with my diet, and I say, okay, I'm gonna try. Like the other night, I tried sriracha. I knew I was gonna pay for it. I knew I was probably gonna be in pain the next day, but you don't realize how bad the pain is that the foods you eat can be until you're pain-free and you reintroduce those foods and you have horrendous pain. And so I paid for it, and I'm still paying for it today. My right shoulder's pretty sore, and my back has been pretty sore the last 2 days since I had sriracha. Not a good idea, not a good idea. If foods hurt you, don't eat them. Okay, let me see here. Hello, Cindy. Motion sickness. Yes, that was another thing, was motion sickness because they rode backwards in their seat. So, I mean, but what do? The requirements are that you have babies rear facing until 2 years old or a certain amount of weight. And so I think there was a time that we experimented when they were big enough for like a convertible car seat. We flipped it around front too early. That helped a little bit, but we ended up flipping it back around because I was like, it's not worth it. But yes, definitely motion sickness can be horrible for babies. And I think I just remember doing everything I could because we would fly from England to come back and visit, and it was a 3-hour car drive from the airport to our hometown. And we would fly on the plane and hold our baby the whole time and comfort our baby with the air, you know, the pressure changes and whatnot on the plane. Our babies were mostly happy on planes, but we would get, and that was like a 12-hour flight sometimes. We would get to stateside and then drive 3 hours home, and our babies would scream the whole way. And our family was always the ones who would pick us up from the airport and drive us, and then we'd borrow a vehicle or whatever. But our poor families that had to endure the screaming baby, and we would stop and eat and nurse the baby, change the baby, get the baby settled, and then immediately this car would start moving and the baby would start screaming again. It was awful. And I'm thankful that now we're kind of out of that phase for the time being because it's brutal. It's limited my travel. When we lived in England, we did not travel very much at all. Like I said, we went to Yorkshire Dales, but we just didn't explore because both our babies that we had in England screamed in the car. Misery, misery, misery. And I'm talking screaming like they couldn't, their breath and stuff would be terrible. They would be sweating profusely and just awful stuff. I have PTSD from it. One time I slammed into the back of a car because my third baby was screaming so badly. I was only going a short 5-minute trip from the house to the grocery store, but within that 5 minutes, I was at a stoplight, and I swear the light turned green, and I swear the car in front of me was moving forward, but they weren't. I just hit the gas and slammed into the car in front of me because I was so rattled with my infant screaming in the car, and I just wanted to get to a place where I could stop because I was trapped. I was trapped and I needed to get my baby out of his car seat. It was so bad. And yeah, I slammed into the back of a truck who happened to be a gentleman who was a part of the police force, and it ended up working out. I paid to fix his truck, but bad stuff. I handle those situations better now than I did back then. Because with our third baby, we had just moved from England, stateside, had the baby, didn't have any support, postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, worst case scenario, or catastrophic thoughts anxiety, if you guys know what that is. Those were all things that I experienced in my postpartum. Very heightened anxiety. And made it really hard for me to travel anywhere with my infants. So if I go to the grocery store or anything like that and I have an infant, it was always I fed the baby, handed him off to dad, and then I went and did my grocery shopping. I rarely ever took a child with me under 2 years old ever after that, because I just don't handle it well when I'm the driver. It's the fight or flight and you just want to rescue your baby. Okay, let's talk about if the grid goes down, because I know Kathy, you're not late yet. Thank you for joining in. And Minna, you guys aren't late. Oh, Minna, go to bed, get some rest. I don't blame you one bit. All right, the weather where I am. Quick update. For those of you that don't know, this is the weather where I am. We've got a couple feet of snow out there right now. But today it is melting, which is really nice. The weather, it's about 40 degrees, and we had a little bit of rain yesterday, which helped melt the snow and kind of break up the snow on the roads, because our snow was ice pack and slush where the sun would hit pretty good. So treacherous driving conditions, but we're very good snow drivers these days. After living here for 7 years in the mountains, Aaron and I, we live right around the snow line. So when you see mountains that have snow all the time, that's kind of where we live. It doesn't melt here until late spring. So we'll have snow in our backyard. I call it the ice glacier because every year it builds up and builds up and builds up, and then it doesn't melt until late spring because it just kind of melts and freezes and melts and freezes, and it's like a glacier. It's treacherous for the kids at one point in the year. Usually I would say like April time is when it becomes a solid sheet of ice and there's no slushy snow, so they can't really walk out in the backyard or play out there because it's gnarly ice and just like a big thick sheet. All right, let me go through these. Yes, Jessica. Oh, it is one of the hardest things that I've gone through a lot of hard stuff, but I would say that having to have a baby in the car for more than, screaming for any amount of time is pretty, I don't know how some people just tune it out, but some people can just tune it out. I never could tune it out. We would pull over constantly, like every 10 minutes, pull over, take the baby out, soothe them. And I think that was probably bad because that taught the baby that if I scream enough, my parents will pull the car over and take me out of my car seat. And then they're like happy, completely happy. And they want to look around. They want to look around outside, and they don't even want to nurse or anything like that. They just want to look around, and they're just happy to be out of the car seat. You put them back in the car seat and it's chaos. All right. I'm trying to stay on topic here. Do we want to have topics on Monday nights, or do we just want to hang out and chat? Yes, eliminating dairy is the game changer. And I tell any new mom that calls me or contacts me, because I'm a doula, and I'm a birth doula and I'm a postpartum doula. So I work with moms before birth, during birth, after birth, and the days and weeks following birth. So that is often, usually when they say baby's screaming and crying and puking, I say, do you want to eliminate dairy? Can you be committed to eliminating dairy? Because I would try that first, see if that works, and then go from there, because usually 90% of the time it's dairy. Topics. Yes, topics. All right, what should we talk about next week? What is there that you guys want to talk about next week? Cindy says motion sickness. At home with Julia. The weather where I am, it's horrible. Well, it depends on what you, if you love snow, I guess it's not. I love winter sports and stuff like that, but because I have smaller children, I'm not able to participate in those things. So if I was able to like get out there and snowboard and not be in pain afterwards and things like that, then I would definitely love the winters, because I love winter sports. I love, love, love. I used to work at a ski resort, and I used to sell extreme sports gear like snowboards, skis, wakeboards, skateboards, all that kind of stuff. I was that chick working in a snowboard shop. Yep, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's just I don't love it so much at this season of life that I'm in. Both, you're good with that. Mary says topics. You want to know about the grid. All right, let's go about the grid. Yay, Sarah's here. Sarah from A Homesteading Hustle. If you guys aren't subscribed to her channel already, I actually wrote down, I watched her bug out bag video and wrote down everything that she put in her bug out bag, and we have a bunch of those things here. I just haven't put them all together. What I do for fire season is we fill up a Tupperware thing with bags packed for the kids, packed for us, and then during fire season, because we have forest fires all around us and we are at a very high risk where we are located of a forest fire, you know, burning our house down. So we have to be prepared. So during fire season, I always do that. And then when fire season's over, I unpack everything and put everything back, because it's like, you know, the kids' clothes, they're not going to fit on the following year and things like that. So we always do like a revamp of that. But I have just a few things here that I have kept on my desk for a while to talk to you guys about. As far as emergency preparedness goes, go bags, things like that, but I don't have a go bag here to unpack. I just didn't have my stuff organized enough this week. All right, get your pencils and your paper. Is everybody ready to go? And we'll talk about this. Awesome, Zoanne. I need to be better prepared for if the grid goes down. All right, so in the first 2 hours of massive grid down or an EMT or anything like that, where either your electronics aren't working, the power grid goes down, your vehicles aren't able to work, all of that sort of stuff. You want to have a plan and discuss it with your family. You want to do this now. You want to be talking to your children. You want to talk to your spouse. How are you going to get to each other from wherever you are? What's the plan? Are you going to shelter in place? You have to figure all that out. If you don't have a plan, you have to pause and collect your thoughts, and you have to clearly communicate, because it is a stressful situation. So you just want to make sure that you are remaining calm and marking off all your P's and Q's. You want to check your electronics and the car to see if it's an EMP strike. That's like an electric magnetic phenomenon, where it can just shut down all of the things that need energy to run. Right? Somebody tell me, what is an EMP? If you know more about that than I do, comment down below and let us know. You definitely want to shelter in place. That's the safest place. You don't want to just escape and start running. That's not a wise thing to do. Shelter in place and locate your family members. Check for injuries. Make sure everybody is okay, because if you have somebody that's injured, you need to deal with that accordingly. With your first aid kit or whatever you have to help that person. You want to establish communication methods and discuss your travel to and from your home. Electromagnetic pulse. Is that like solar flares and things like that can affect the earth and all of the electromagnetic fields? So the most important thing, once you have gathered your people, once you have discussed how to be in contact with each other or how to get to each other, and that you've got your little group of people, your little community together, you want to make sure that you have somebody on water duty. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a clean source of water or the ability to get water from somewhere. And usually, some people have pumps that don't run on electricity. We have pumps that run. Our well pump runs on electricity. So that's going to be a little bit tricky, but you want to try to get water by any means necessary. We also have a river nearby. So one of the things that we have that we keep in our Tupperware container of all of our survival gear stuff, because we have a big family, so it just makes sense to keep it tucked away in a Tupperware thing, these type of products, so that mice aren't getting to it, so that they are staying dry. And we have one of those large bins. And this is a Pro Hydration Extender Kit. This one comes with extra filters, and it is not run by power. It is a manual filtering pump. And I got this because we have a larger family, and instead of buying like the Life Straws, which we need to get some of those too. Life Straws are really good to have. They're like individual things that you can go to a stream or to any puddle of water or whatever, and you can drink straight through the straw and get your hydration that way. But I thought that I would be cooking for my large family, and we need to have a way to do larger quantities of water so that I can cook for the army and things like that. So after this, I'll put some of these items down below in this video's description if you want to look them up and find them yourself. But this is a Survivor filter. Let's see, how many gallons? It doesn't say on here, but I got it because it comes with extra filters and extra replacement filters. You also want to make sure that you have some immediate water on hand, whether you have a couple cases of bottled water, whether you have like a rain catchment system, barrels outside of your home, whatever. Just make sure you have some kind of water that you can filter for your family. That's the most important thing. You want to bleach, write this down, you guys, for water duty. You want to bleach and fill tubs with cold water, because you want to do that immediately, as soon as you can, because either the water pumps won't work or the water systems will become contaminated. Hi Jill, thanks for joining us. You also want to make sure that if you have any food in your fridge and freezer, and if you have the capability to, let's say you still have gas running to your house, or maybe you have a fire, you want to cook the food in your fridge and freezers as soon as you need to. Keep in mind, if you are able to keep them closed and keep them insulated for a period of time, you can do that while you get some other stuff done. But you want to make sure that you are cooking your food so that you can prolong its, preserve it. Not necessarily preserve it, but cooked food lasts longer than raw, undercooked food. So if you can do that, go ahead and break into your fridges and freezers and take care of that food so that it doesn't go to waste. This next one's a little bit questionable right now. I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on with the banking systems and all of that stuff. But keep cash on hand, because one of the first things you're going to want to do if the grid goes down is to try to get to a grocery store to get any last minute necessary items. But if you go to the grocery store, if you are a loved one, whoever's responsible for going to the grocery store, probably send your husband, send a man armed. That's going to be very important. Concealed carry license. I'm not sure how much that's going to matter in a grid down situation, but you definitely want to make sure that you are protected and armed if you are going to be going off of your property. And keep cash on hand so that you can purchase the supplies that you need to in the very first day or so. So remember, this is in the first 2 hours of the grid going down, these things that I'm going through. These are the things that you want to consider. When you go to the grocery store, you want to buy shelf-stable foods and focus on proteins and fats. Those are going to be the things that are going to sustain you the longest. So cans of chicken meat, cans of like dried meats, or get yourself some jars of lard or some jars of ghee. If you don't already have those things on your shelf, you want to focus on your fats and your proteins. Make sure that you have all your medications, all your batteries, fuel, and life-saving items. You just want to make sure that you have all of that stuff. Next thing, you want to secure your dwelling. How are you going to keep yourself and your family safe? How are you going to keep intruders from coming in? And then you want to set up your kitchen station and your bathroom and hand washing station, because sanitation is going to be an issue during a grid down. So you want to make sure that you have a bucket with some sawdust or a deep enough hole somewhere that you guys can be using as a bathroom and that you can be dealing with your waste. And you also are going to need a kitchen station so that you can be preparing meals for your people, and that you can keep your food and everything neat and tidy. The last thing you want is, predators or people coming because they know that you have food and they can smell your food and all that good stuff. Check in with your neighbors and your community. I think out here where we live, we have a really awesome community, and people are seem prepared and ready to have a system in place. I know that we have some great leaders out here. We have a lot of military people out here. So it's going to be fairly organized, I feel like, if that situation were to happen where we live currently. We've got friends within walking distance of us, and we have really good relationships with all of our surrounding neighbors. So that is to our benefit. So we want to check in with all of those people in our community. We want to make sure that we've got our roads in and out of our town secure. That's not going to be something that the women and children are going to be worrying about. Of course, that's probably going to be something the men are going to be worrying about. But you just want to check in with your community and make sure you have a way to communicate. Well, thank you. You want to make sure that you have a way to communicate with everybody, and you want to gather information together as a group. What do these people know? What do those people know? And everybody's going to be able to contribute a little bit of information, hopefully, to figure out what's going on and what do we do from here? How do we move forward? I already said to prep perishable foods quickly. Make sure you have candles, flashlights, batteries. If you can, get a little portable solar panel system, and those sorts of things. Those are kind of like essentials. You definitely want to make sure that you have some way to start a fire should push come to shove and you don't have any heat or any way to warm your family. You want to make sure that you have a way to start a fire. You can find these things on Amazon or any outdoor store, but I got this from Texas Bushcraft, and I got it in the color orange, but it is one of those magnesium, and what's it called? It's a stick, and it will, I'm not going to do it in here because I've got paper and stuff down here below me on my desk, but it will create a spark, and you can also use the paracord to help start your fire. And then it has this little multi-tool on it, and it has a whistle on it, but I'm not going to blow it super hard. And then you have your stick that creates a spark, and then this thing that you scrape it to create your spark. So you need some kind of fire starting. You need fire, you need water, and yes, you need food. So if you have MREs, if you have a freeze dryer and you can freeze dry your own food for your family, you want to make sure that you have things like that on hand for an emergency. So these I need to get into a book bag along with my MREs, my axe, my knife. I'll go over all the things that I wrote down that Sarah shared on her channel. Her channel is A Homesteading Hustle. And after this, head over there because she shared her whole bug out bag, what she keeps in it. And she's had that stuff in there for like a year. And then she went through it and she's like, oh, I've got all this stuff in here. And it was really interesting to see. And it's just something that she keeps off to the side, stashed, so that if her family needs to escape, they just grab their bags and go. So it's a great thing to have. You want to have a first aid kit in your bug out bag. Make sure you guys are writing notes if you need this. First aid kit. Basic first aid is really important. You can buy those pre-made first aid kits. What I have here is I just have a bunch of random things that I have stocked and saved over the years, and all of them are in like a gallon size Ziploc bag. That's in our fire bin that we have. It's large, it's in the garage. I didn't have time to bring it in. But we've got all that stuff kind of organized out there in one of our bins, or at least I do. I don't know if anybody knows that I have that out there. But I've got my emergency kit, and I have it packed so that if we have to hop in our vehicle, we just throw the bin in the back of the vehicle, and then we've got some of our emergency supplies, and these things I need to throw in there. So we have our fire starter kit. Write that down. You want a fire starter. You need a hatchet or an axe so that you can chop wood, so that you can make your fire. You definitely need a knife. That's going to help you in so many scenarios, but especially if you are able to set a snare or catch any kind of little critters, things like that. A knife is going to come in handy to process those. Emergency water. Sarah had these really cool little like aluminum pouches of water, and they are emergency water. I looked them up on Amazon, and you can buy big packs of emergency water in those little flat packs. They are a little bit more convenient than a water bottle just because of the shape, but it's like what was it, Sarah, 72-hour water supply or something. Those are just good to have in your book bag. You can just cram them everywhere in all different spots. Emergency water, a water purifier. This will fit in our book bag, and then we'll be able to get our family and refill our water jugs or whatever it is that we have. We'll be able to use this for that. But like I said earlier, you can get some life straws. There's so many different water filtration, emergency water filtration devices out there on the market. You just have to pick what's going to work best for you and your family. Hi, Lisa May. Thank you. Water purifier tablets. Those are really important. So you can filter your water. If you want to take it next level, you can throw the water purifier tablets in your already filtered water if you don't trust it. But most of the water filters on the market today are really good at filtering out the nasty bacterias and little microbes and things that are dangerous in the water. We were just watching the show Outlast last night. Let me know if you guys have watched that show. It's called Outlast. But one of the contestants, she was just like, oh yeah, fresh running water from the stream, and scooped it up and just took a sip from her cup. Within a couple hours, she was very sick, very, very, very sick. Could not stop vomiting, was just vomiting stomach bile. Horrendous experience. You don't want to do that. So get yourself some water purifier tablets. You want a change of clothes. Heaven forbid you get wet. You need to have a change of clothes. MREs, which are meal ready. What does the E stand for in MRE? Aaron, if you're watching, what does the E stand for? I meant to ask you this earlier. But they're ready-made meals of freeze-dried food. Just add water. They come in little small packs, and they're amazing. So you can either make your own MREs, which I have done, and I don't know if I shared it with you all on the channel, but I've made chili. I've just freeze-dried leftover meals in my freeze dryer, and that's a great way to do it. If you can just make some extra food and then freeze dry it, you can make your own MREs with a freeze dryer super, super easily. I have a Stay Fresh freeze dryer, and I have a 50% off coupon. It's on almost all of my videos in my videos description. If you want to get yourself a freeze dryer, it's really awesome for garden harvests and preserving all the extra food that you have. Nothing goes to waste around here. Just pop it in the freeze dryer, and then we put it in the, come on, brain, think, in these type of bags. These type of bags. Somebody tell me. Brain fog's not working. I've talked about it before on my channel. I have a whole video about preserving food in those type of bags. Mylar bags. Thank you, Penny. Hi, Penny. Glad you can make it. Hi, Jill. Thank you for saying Mylar. Yeah, my brain's not working. Thank you all. So you want to make sure you have some cooking equipment, and Sarah had a really cool, Sarah, I hope you linked all those products that you had in your video. Do you have an Amazon Associates account? Can you link all those products in your video so that people can go watch that after they leave here and find those products that you had. I know you're probably driving home right now, but cooking equipment, she had the sweetest little set, and it all stacked together and fit really nicely. And you had so much stuff in that book bag. I was really impressed how much stuff you fit in there. All right, a whistle and a compass. Those are going to be the most essential things you need. Fire starter, hatchet axe, a knife, emergency water, a water purifier or water purifying tablets, change of clothes, MRE, food, a lighter. You're going to need a lighter or a way to start a fire, cooking equipment, whistle, compass, first aid kit. That's what you need in your bug out bag. But in a grid down situation, the best thing you can do is shelter in place and make sure that you have all the things that you need in your home and you have a means to protect yourself and what's in your home. That's really, really, really important. Meal ready to eat. Thank you, Carol. Meals ready to eat. I'm telling you guys, my recall right now is terrible. It's been terrible. Yes, I love the show Alone, Sarah. Love it, love it, love it. We started the Outlast last night. It is so drama. It is so dramatic. Those girls are cutthroat. And a lot of those people are, I mean, they're not breaking the rules, right? They're not. What they're doing, they're so cutthroat though. If you have morals, it's really going to grind your gears what they do on that show, what those women are doing. But they probably have children and they probably know that they have to do what it takes in any kind of situation to provide for their families. So they are really, really, really cutthroat. Yes, Karen, it is. It's just something to be mindful of. I'm not trying to say like spread any fear or anything. We do know that our government, our very trusted government, has recently said that in the next 2 years, they do expect a cyber attack. Oh my gosh, it's getting dark. Let me turn on this light real quick. Which one is it? Not that one, there we go. Yes. So they've already told us that they expect a cyber attack and some kind of grid down situation in the next 2 years. Whether or not that's going to happen, they also predicted a pandemic, but you guys know that's just those crazy conspiracy theorists. You can't trust anything they say. Okay, you can't trust them because nothing ever comes to fruition. But they always tell us the game book. You know, they predict what's going to happen in the future, and then it happens. So it's better to have like a little bit of preparations. If it's as simple as having a water filtration device, a Berkey water filter. We have a Berkey water filter as well, but my hang up with the Berkey water filter is I can't put that in a bug out bag, but I can put this in a bug out bag and throw it on my back and make sure that I have a way to filter my family's water. I'm not going to be able to do that with my big Berkey. I can throw it in the vehicle, and so we have the big Berkey packed up in its box. We drink the well water from here, no problems with it. We've had it tested, but we don't use our Berkey where we're at currently. I probably should. I don't because I have it saved for emergency preparedness. I have it saved. And so we used it when we lived in the UK. We lived on a military base. We filtered our water. And then we haven't used it. We used it when we lived in town to filter our town water and to remove fluoride and the different things that they do when they treat the water in town. And in town is close to the military base. And we're still close to the military base out here, but we have a well. So good to have a way to filter water. So we've got our big Berkey. If you can invest in one of those, there's lots of ways. If you look online, if you Google it or YouTube it, there are so many ways that you can make a very similar, simple, less costly Berkey. You can buy the Berkey water filters and make your own. What I'm trying to say is you can make your own container to hold the water to filter it. Lots of YouTube tutorials if you need a more economic way to do that. So where there is a will, there is a way, and you can figure it out in a way that's affordable for you. I think that's really important. Water, fire, shelter, you know, the three, what is it? You can go, the rule of threes. You can go, what is it? 3 days without shelter. Somebody help me out. 3 hours without shelter, like if it's raining or whatever. 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So the rule of threes: 3 hours without shelter, 3 weeks, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. That's how long you can survive those situations. Exposure is a thing, so that's why sheltering in place is a really good idea, unless you're where we are and there's wildfires. Then in that case, you are probably gonna have to escape. All right, let's see what some of y'all said, because they pop up and they disappear really quick. Ooh, Penny through Netflix. Outlast, I think Outlast, we found it on Netflix. We still have a Netflix subscription, but we rarely ever watch it. We just, Aaron and I, for the first time in months, we watched a show together, and we ended up watching it from, I don't know how many episodes we watched. We were up till midnight last night watching Outlast, and we never stay up that late, but we were hooked. It's so brutal. It's so messed up. Oh man, it's so messed up. Just because the women are ruthless. In a way, I want to say I like admire that amount of ruthlessness in that kind of competition setting, but it is so wrong what they're doing. It is so messed up. Mylar, clearly filtered is good. Pitchers and water bottles. Yes, and recently what I've been doing is when I can food, I'm putting if I have leftover jars, I have so many jars right now that I need to be filling with water. But you can pressure can water into your glass jars so that you have shelf stable water. Obviously, those glass jars aren't going to travel as conveniently, but you can go ahead, and if you have some extra glass jars laying around, can up some water. So if your power goes out and your pump goes out and you don't have any electricity to get your family water, or you run out of your bottles of water or whatever, that you've got some a couple jars, or 20 jars, whatever you can store of water. Yes, Sarah, you gotta get that Amazon Associates account set up so that you can share your Amazon links into your videos descriptions, so people can shop using your links. And if they shop using your links, you do get like a small percentage of anything that they buy on Amazon when they route through your links. So just something that's helpful to those of us who have YouTube channels. Another thing, if you guys find my channel of value, I'm not one to ask for anything, but if you want to support my channel, 2 ways that you can support my channel is through super thanks. And a lot of times on my videos down below, there'll be a heart with like a little $sign. You can do super thanks. And then you can also join as a member. I'm starting to share more stuff with my members. I'm probably going to start sharing like the more private stuff about health and what's going on in our personal life, as far as Aaron's medical board, his military retirement, which we are in the thick of right now, his health, my health, what's been going on with us. All of that is going to be on my members side, because I'm trying to keep my channel primarily food, foods made from scratch, homemaking, homesteading, that kind of stuff. And I'm trying not to get like too personal on there, although I do sometimes, but that kind of stuff, personal life stuff, is going to be shared with my members, because I know that trolls aren't going to join to be a member. I know that people who are genuine and true to this channel, they'll join to be members. I'm a member on multiple channels. Sarah, I need to join your channel. Do you have your membership set up yet, Sarah? Oh, thank you, Lisa. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting that, but thank you for your support. And then I always do a shout out for my members, and I actually have a few new members this week. So let me shout out everybody who is joined as a member on the channel. Give you all some recognition. I appreciate it so much. We appreciate it. It helps keep this channel going, because we don't make a whole lot of money to put videos on YouTube. I mean, you have to work your butt off to make any amount of income on YouTube. I've been on here for 6 years and I don't even make a part-time wage for as much time as I spend making videos, editing videos, putting videos out there, sharing things that we do, sharing how I cook, all that stuff. It takes so much time. If I want to edit 1 hour of video footage, let's say I film for a total of an hour, it takes me 3 hours to edit 1 hour of footage. So if you can imagine, when I take a bunch of footage, and you guys see when I do like those all day in the kitchen meal prep videos, that is like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage. And it will take me a whole day, 2 days to edit that video, and then another day to get it uploaded, to get the description box right, to get the tags and everything right. It takes a lot of time. I love doing it though. So I love to do it. And I wish that it was more, I wish YouTube didn't take such a high percentage, because they take a lot of the percentage of advertisements from YouTubers like myself. They take about 50%, if I remember correctly, of all the advertisements, all the advertisers' fees. So what seems like would be a really lucrative career isn't, because they take so much of it. But if you can support the channels that you love, there's lots of ways you can support and help channels that you really love to keep producing the content that you love to watch. And that's super thanks and memberships. So I appreciate that, and I thank you guys so much. And I'm trying to do more for my members, because y'all are the true MVPs, and I appreciate that so much. So let's go through and say memberships. I'm just bringing it up on my computer. We've got Cluttered Mother Off Grid. She's one of my favorite channels to watch as well. Tammy is a mom of soon to be 13. I say soon, but she's pregnant with her 13th child now, and they moved off grid this last fall, and they're sharing all about it on her channel, and it's incredible. Like, she's just amazing. Pagan Winter, Jess Dosty, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We've got Victoria R. Thank you so much. Karen Cassidy, Ashley Moore, and Sarah at Homesteading Hustle. All right, and I'm gonna have to grab one of my kids, because most of you guys are here for the Survival Seeds giveaway, right? Y'all wanna know who won? I'm gonna do this interesting way, and I'm gonna film it too so you guys see. I'm gonna have one of my random comment pickers come in here, because my kids don't get on my YouTube channel. They don't read comments or any of that. They are not familiar with, they're familiar with the people that have sent us Christmas cards and things like that, because they read the Christmas cards and we still have them all taped up. But they don't know anybody's names. They don't know the people that I normally chat with, the conversations we have on my Instagram. So they have no idea, but they're gonna pick. What we're gonna do is scroll on the post that I shared. It's just gonna take me a minute to find my community tab. Community. So if you commented on that post, and if you haven't and you need to go hop over there, you've got like a few more minutes to do it. I put in the post, I want you to follow all of my social media accounts. If you didn't have a Facebook, if you don't have an Instagram, I don't hold that against you. Definitely don't sign up for those things. If you don't want to be a part of them, you can just follow along to the social media accounts that you can, and that is just fine. And once you follow along to all the social media things that you are a part of, comment down below. Let's see. And I have 56 comments of folks. So that was one of the requirements, because that is where I select the winner from, is the comment section of that. So that was the most important part. So I need to go get one of my random pickers, and then I'm also going to put this in a story. I'm going to put the winner in a story so it stays up there for a few days. Hi, Ruby. And that way that person can reach out to me by email. My email is going to be in this video's description when it's all over with, but it is Rows, ROWES, rising, RISING, @gmail.com. You're going to want to send me an email and say, hey, I'm the person that won, because I have your emails on my blog website, but are your emails and your YouTube handles the same? In most cases, they are not. So that makes that part tricky. So if I call out your YouTube handle, then you are the winner, and you have until you get in touch with me. Email me, let me know, and then I can ship these out to you along with some other goodies to go in there. And I need to go get my random comment picker. But yeah, and I have more giveaways, you all. I have a lot of stuff to give away, okay? So I just have to get the ball rolling and get these giveaways going. So I've got some goodies. I have a box that I'm filling up with all kinds of goodies for you all. So that's going to go to one lucky person in the coming weeks, months. And then I have some other things like a set of pans, and I have some really cool syrup dispensing bottles, olive oil dispensing bottles from Moly Moly. Some liquid IV stuff, some real salt stuff, Redmond's real salt. If you guys are looking for a really good salt, Redmond's real salt, and in all of my videos descriptions, there is a 10% off discount code and free shipping over $30 when you use my link. I buy the 25-pound bags of salt, and it's about time for us to get another bag soon just to have as backup. And we use it for everything. We use it for canning, for cooking, food preservation, you name it. They have like really fine popcorn salt, they have kosher salt, and they have toothpaste, toxin-free toothpaste, and they have so much stuff. They have the Redmond clay masks. It's really good for your skin, for detoxing. So Redmond's real salt, check them out. Link down below in all of my videos descriptions. Let me see if I can find one of my random comment pickers. And one of you, let's see right here. Come here for 1 second. All right, let's do, yes, popcorn salt. We do a lot of popcorn around here for snacks. Okay, I want you to, let's see if we can do it this way. I want you to scroll up and down. Do you know how to scroll on this computer?
Yeah.
All right, and I want you to kind of randomly pick a person. You don't read the names or anything, just kind of stop, and wherever you stop that arrow, so the cursor, there's the cursor. He's just gonna scroll like this, and he's just gonna stop somewhere. Oh, Erica, Rachel, how do you enter the giveaway? All right, you're gonna have to hop over there real quick, and I'll give you another minute. You go to my channel, and under the community tab, you scroll down, and you're gonna see a picture of me like this. And you want to comment on there, follow all my social handles and comment, but go ahead and comment there because you're here tonight, and then you can follow all my social handles and things. That's important. But we're gonna have Riker do this real quickly, and I'm gonna try to do it in a way that y'all can see what he's doing. I tried to do like a comment picker. All right, Riker, come over this side. I tried to do a comment picker thing online, and they would only pick comments off my YouTube videos, and then I ran out of time and had to join the live. So, all right, Riker, hold on, let's find the cursor. The cursor is right here, and he's just gonna scroll around until hold on, we gotta refresh it because Erica, hopefully she's on here. All right, there we go. Let's see. So all in this comment section, do you see, Riker?
Yeah.
And just pick a random person. Don't pick it based on profile pictures or anything like that. Just kind of pick something random, and then you can tell them who you've selected. This is my random comment picker.
Wait, I think I did something wrong.
Oh, you kicked on somebody. Mrs. Kojak.
Yep.
You are the winner. You did it right because it actually brought this person up on the screen. Mrs. Kojak, you are the winner of the survival seeds. Email me if you need my email address, rowesrising@gmail.com. I don't think you're on here tonight. Hopefully you catch the replay. If not, hopefully you read the story. If not, hopefully I'm going to comment it and pin it on that community post. So Miss Kojak 13 at Miss Kojak, MRSKOJAK. You've got some beautiful flowers. What is that, nettle or something? Oh, you're here! Yay! I'm so excited you're actually here. I didn't think that the person, look, now I'm starting to blush. I didn't think the person that won would actually be here tonight. Yeah, so exciting. So I hope you guys feel like that was a fair selection. He just clicked and didn't even, he's like, oh, I think I did something wrong. So that's who he picked. All right, Riker, come here and tell her congratulations.
Congratulations.
And if you guys, we'll try to figure it out, a way to do it like with the random online stuff. It might have to be where I post a video announcing a giveaway and showing all the things I'm going to be giving away, and then you'll have to comment and follow all the directions on those posts. You were so welcome. I'm so glad. I hope that you can use these. It's a 30 pack, and for those of you that did not win, in all of my videos descriptions, I share a discount code and link with you all for survival garden seeds. They are heirloom, non-GMO, chemical-free, and amazing. I actually just planted a bunch of these. That video is coming out this week, but I didn't really share a whole lot about it, but I started a whole bunch of seeds in this little light box thing that I got. And we're growing. Riker helped me. Do you remember all the things we planted?
We did some bok choy, one watermelon seed.
We did some lettuce.
Yeah, lettuce.
Poppies.
Poppies.
What was the other flower? We did another flower.
Daffodil?
I don't think, no, we didn't do daffodils because those are bulbs.
Yeah.
We did sage. We planted some sage in there.
Sage,
so these were all things that came from the survival garden seeds. And so far, everything that we planted in that thing, I'm going to share that with you guys too. But everything that we planted in that thing has sprouted. So I know, and I can say that these seeds do sprout, and they do come packaged in a Mylar bag like this. You can get, I had a tub of them, but I think the tub is probably, I don't know where I've put the tub, but I showed you guys in one of my other lives. They have the 50 packs of seeds. They've got the 30 pack. I have a tub of them too, and they've all sprouted so far. They're excellent seeds. I can honestly recommend them. And those are the only seeds that I've ever shared on my channel so far. So I'm always looking to try other seed companies. So if you guys have recommendations, where do you buy your seeds from? Comment them. And that way everybody has a variety of different places that they can go to find seeds. Yeah. So let me read through some of these comments. Oh, Kathy. I know, I feel like that too sometimes, that I never win anything. One time when I was 16, I had walking pneumonia and I was home listening to the radio, because back in the day, that's what you did. You listened to the radio, and so I was listening to Q101, and they had a giveaway, and I think it was a $100 giveaway, and I called in. I was home from school for like a month with walking pneumonia. Called in, and I won $100. But I'm trying to think if I've ever won anything random like that before. But I don't have that kind of luck either. I'm still waiting for that $1 million win. Let's see. Child of God. Everybody says congratulations. Yes, you guys, we're going to do some more fun giveaways. Okay. Also, ideas for next week. You got yours from Patriot Supply. Yes, I have a Patriot Supply link as well in all of my videos descriptions that gets you a little bit of a discount too, an affiliate link for you all. Patriot Supply, they have all of your emergency preparedness stuff. If you want to go and buy meal kits, if you want to go buy a bunch of freeze-dried food that you don't have to think of, maybe you can afford to go and buy all those pre-made packages all at once. They have like 72 hours worth of food supply. They've got like 3-week food supplies. They've got like a month food supply for one person. So you can go and buy complete kits that have all sorts of meals, breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, all of that stuff, emergency preparedness, all in one place. So it makes it really easy if you're feeling overwhelmed and you just want to say, okay, I just want to buy a box of stuff that I have for an emergency situation, and I just want to be able to have that back in a closet somewhere. I don't want to deal with all the other stuff, but I want to make sure I have a box of food just in case. Patriot Supply has it. It's really great. Highly, highly, highly recommend. We're not going to start a fire in the bedroom. This is something we can do not in fire season. Riker's in here. He's trying the fire starter.
No, I'm not trying it. I'm just trying to figure out how to hold it.
Oh, okay. But we will definitely work on that this spring. We'll be able to go out in the backyard before fire season kicks in when we're able to burn, and we can practice using that to start our fires. That we start fires when we're allowed to burn. We burn the pine cones because we're surrounded by pine trees, and the pine cones, you can break a leg if you step on one and roll your ankle.
You roll it. I've done it.
Yeah, Riker's rolled his ankle before, so isn't it important? Isn't it your favorite thing to do, Riker's, to pick up pine cones?
Well, no.
But
like burning.
Yes, burning the pine cones is a lot of fun, and he really enjoys that. So that's something that we'll be able to practice with this spring, is using our little fire starter kit. Allow the kids to practice with this and learn how to create that little bit of a spark in a survival situation. So good things to learn. If you're looking for activities to do with your family, simple tasks like learning how to build a fire is so important. We grew up with a wood stove when I was little, and I was like definitely one of those kids that really liked fire, and I know where Riker gets it from. Who doesn't? I mean, fire is amazing. It's so purposeful, and it's so important to survival. But we, as children, we were often left to tend the fire, manage the fire. Otherwise, we'd freeze. If we didn't take care of the fire, we would wake up in the middle of the night, fire went out, we forgot to stoke the stove or whatever, wake up really cold and have to start a fire in the night. So that was something I learned very early on, and I'm very thankful for that. I love starting fires. So we're going to have fun teaching the kids how to start fires too. It's just here where we live, we never lived somewhere where you have a season you're not allowed to burn at all. That was foreign to us. And the very first time when we first moved into this house, Aaron and I had a fire, and we had the fire going at night. And these are all big no-nos here. So yeah.
The fire starter is also a multi-tool.
Yes, it is a multi-tool. This is good for you. Riker's very like engineer mind, and I think a lot of boys are, but loves to learn about how things work, and he loves tools and all that kind of stuff. Yes, eat your emergency food periodically so you can make sure your system tolerates it. That is true. For instance, I know I need to freeze dry a whole lot of ground beef and rice. So you can cook your rice and freeze dry it, and then that way all you have to do is add hot water to it. Same thing with your ground beef and things like that. So I need to have some meals prepped for Aaron and myself. Aaron, while we were out of town, we kind of cheated off our diets a little bit and definitely paid for it. He actually currently is walking with a cane. He's got really bad bursitis in his hips, and he's in a ton of pain. So this past week has been really hard for him. There was definitely some times where it was touch and go as far as his pain level and us just being able to manage his pain. So today he's getting around a little bit better, but it's still, I have to be on him because It's like if you keep using your leg, your hip is going to stay inflamed. So it's really, it has like a gnarly knot of fluid, or not even a knot, like a sack of fluid that we can feel protruding out of his hip socket area. And it's rough. So he, update on Aaron, he still has not had his eye surgery, still has multiple holes in both of his retinas and a tear in one of his retinas, and we are still waiting on the Pentagon. Somebody at the Pentagon from the Air National Guard, like one of the higher ups, they have to approve his eye surgery because he's in a medical evaluation board process, and he was in the middle of his CNP exams. And even the lady at the VA that examined his eyes for his eye exam, and he had just been to his eye doctor last month, and the eye doctor was like, you have holes in your retinas. We need to laser these and fix them, or they're going to turn into tears. Well, then he went to his VA eye doctor appointment, and she said, oh, now you have a tear, and you have it's not glaucoma, but it's a cataract. And he has a cataract developing already. So that's just that. That's just, how does he keep going? Hope, faith. I think God is carrying him. There's one set of footprints in the sand right now. So we just, one day at a time. It's like bowel obstruction in January, his eyes going out in February, his hip going out in March. And he's been to the chiropractor. He went to 2 chiropractors. So while he was over the mountain for one of his VA exams, he had to go to a chiropractor over there because he couldn't even walk. So his buddy who drove him to that appointment, because it's about 2 hours away with the snow and the weather, it was a 2-hour drive. So his friend drove him, and he couldn't even walk. They had to find a chiropractor while over there. Didn't help him. The very next day went to a chiropractor here in town, and still has not had any relief. And then today went to urgent care and has had more x-rays done, because let me tell you, when we were getting his CMP exams done, they did like the full body CMP exam, and they had to do multiple x-rays of his system. And that's just an x-ray tech. He hasn't even gotten the results back from those x-rays, but the x-ray tech asked him if he believed in God, and told him that there's a reason he came in that day for those x-rays. We still haven't heard back from him, but he's been in so much pain that he had to go today and get more x-rays to figure out what's going on, to make sure that there's not something crazy going on. So yeah, it's been, I tell him every day that I'm amazed all that he is enduring. He's an athlete, so he's been trained his whole life to endure the suck, as we call it, and he's just been able to get through. And yes, it takes a toll on your mental health, and when you already have mental health struggles related to your career and to your health, it's very difficult. But we just every day keep rising, right? It's my motto, just keep rising, one foot in front of the other. Right now it's shuffle those feet and try not to move your hip at all for him. But hopefully they have an MRI scheduled for next week, I think, to check out his hips, because there's something going on with his hips, and he has osteoarthritis in his hips, is what they said today. And there's something going on in his sacrum. He's got arthritis in his L4, L5, S1, and then his sacrum's cracked from a fall that he had. And yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Bone spurs on his spine, bone spurs on his feet and ankles, and a lot of stuff, a lot. So yeah, just keep praying for him. Currently I'm his caregiver, so we're hopeful that the VA acknowledges that I'm his caregiver, that I've been taking care of him through all of these health issues for the last, 8 years, but more so that he's been home with me full time. So he's still active duty in the military, but he is home because of everything going on. So I'm taking care of him right now. Yeah, so it's a lot. that's just like in the last 3 months. This is not everything else that's been going on with neurological stuff with his ears, and his bowels and his other systems. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there's a lot there. So just keep praying. It's been a rough year. It got a lot worse in the last year and a half. So if you can imagine, the mandates hit about a year and a half ago, and that's where we're at today. Kathy, you won a planner once 40 years ago. I've got something really exciting for all of you guys. I have a planner coming. I've teamed up with I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but remember, I always rave about these planners. Well, Annie from the Off-Grid Prep family and I are collaborating on a Rouse Rising planner. So I am definitely going to be giving one of those away in the future. It is a homemaking planner. So it's for the homemaker. It's going to have meal plan sheets in it and lots and lots and lots of really awesome stuff. So I'm excited about that. That is coming up. We're working on it now. Maybe I wasn't supposed to talk about it yet, but that's something that is in the works, and really excited about that, to have my own homemaking planner to share with you guys in the future. So speaking of planners, but if you need a garden planner, if you need a homestead planner on Amazon, it's the Off-Grid Prep family. This is the Ultimate Mom's Planner, but she also makes, I share this with you guys every single time because I love them. They're amazing. The Off-Grid Prep family 1 year of food planner. So I share these in all my videos descriptions too, but Annie from the Off-Grid Prep family, not Annie, I take that back. Just Nix that I even said that name. She is amazing. So she's got lots of awesome books there for you guys to plan your homesteads, to plan your homeschool, to plan your 1 year of food, recipes, all that good stuff. But we're collaborating on we're collaborating currently. So exciting stuff. Hi there, his sweetie. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, osteoarthritis. So he has a lot of it, and the VA was able to document everything from the x-rays that they did for him, but we don't know what those x-rays showed because we still haven't been contacted about those. All we know is and we didn't want to get scans and all of that, but he started to freak out and worry that it was a blood clot or something worse. So yeah, he had to go in today and say, is this a blood clot? Am I going to die? And then they were like, do you want pain medicine? He's like, no, I just need to know if I'm going to survive this. Am I going to survive this pain that I'm in? And they assured him that he was going to survive it. And he came home. He did not get some kind of steroid injection that they wanted to give him. And then they offered him pain pills and he said no. So just dealing with it, trying to decrease inflammation through diet. That's really important. Last week and the week before, all the traveling to Portland, to everywhere, all of that, the eating out and things like that just weren't helpful to the situation. So diet's very important if you have inflammation. If you have arthritis, definitely look into a low inflammatory diet. I know people that are riddled with like rheumatoid arthritis eating handfuls of peanuts. Don't do that. Peanuts are highly inflammatory. Tomatoes, lots of things are highly inflammatory and are going to cause arthritis, inflammation to be unbearable. Peppers, black ground pepper, so many things. But we haven't tried, or at least recently, turmeric and black pepper, just because he's so limited with his diet. He really doesn't take anything, no supplements at this time, since his bowel obstruction. No supplements, nothing, just food, just carnivore diet. Aaron is on the strict carnivore diet. Me, I cheat and I pay for it, and I'm just trying to do my best. So I eat rice, fruit, and meat, and organ meats. Rice, fruit, meat, organ meats. And I cheated because I had hot wings at Buffalo Wild Wings and paid for that. That was a bad idea. Lisa, you started being allergic to nuts at age 40? Cortisone. Yes, it was, it wasn't I asked him when he got home, I was like, "Was it cortisone?" And he was like, "No, it was some other stuff." I was like, "It was probably some kind of corticosteroid, something along those lines," because that's what they like to inject people with. But the problem is the side effects. So when he asked what the side effects were, they terrified him enough that he was like, "You know what? No, I don't want those." Because recently he had an experience where his neurologist was insisted that he get Botox injections for his migraines because he has cysts on his brain and he has chronic migraines. That's a whole nother thing. So his neurologist wanted to try Botox on him and he decided he didn't want Botox, and they said, "Oh no, you're gonna be fine," and started sticking him, and he's like, "I don't want this." But he had committed up to that point, but then was not committing, and he felt very like he didn't have any control in that situation, and that he did not want the Botox, but that they were telling him, "You're going to be fine. You just need to get this." And so that was really difficult because even after he decided not to get it, they continued to insist through a panic attack that he was going to be fine and to get the Botox. And that's not cool. Let's not do that to people. Let's not do that to people, doctors and nurses. Let's just, if they are panicking and they decide they don't want a procedure, just stop and give them some time. Revisit it a different day, whatever, just let them be. So since that experience, today they wanted to do like that injection, and he was like, "No." He said at first he agreed to it, and then he sat there for a few minutes and thought about it, and then he's like, "You know what? No, I don't want to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm not doing it." And he is able to stand his ground today and say, "No, I don't want this particular treatment. I'll just, as long as it's not a blood clot or anything really serious going on in there, we're just going to suffer through it and decrease inflammation." So he's been icing a lot. We have a really awesome ice pack that he uses, and keeping him off his feet, which is difficult because he's like me. It's hard to keep him down. He just has this urge to do, and I have an urge to do. And when we can't do those things, it's just a mental battle, and him having to sit and rest while I'm taking care of the kids, while I'm managing everything. It's like really, he needs to be doing. So he tries to help, and then I'm like, "Sit back down. You need to rest and get the inflammation down. You need to just sit there, stop aggravating it." And that's not easy for either one of us. It's not easy for me to tell him that he needs to sit and rest, and it's not easy for him to sit and rest. Yeah. So doing lots and lots of stuff. If y'all know anything about osteoarthritis of the hips and things that he can do to lessen the pain. And then there's also iliotibial, I might not be saying it right, iliotibial syndrome or something with that IT band. There's something going on with his IT band that's like jacked it all up too. But I'm not a physical therapist. I'm familiar with back stuff, but not so much hip stuff. Yes, but keep praying for him to have strength to get through all of these things. And we just want to live a normal life. Is that too much to ask for? Someone commented on one of my last videos. She said, "How is it that you guys eat as healthy as you do? You make all these lifestyle choices. You're make the best decisions for yourself health-wise, but you're still so sick and struggle with autoimmune diseases and inflammation and all of this stuff." And I don't really have an answer for that. I know that genes play a huge role into it. I know that trauma, childhood trauma, war-related trauma, all that stuff really plays a huge role in a person's health and how their body handles stress and things like that. And I can't explain why. I just know that if I were to eat a normal American diet, I would be disabled. I would be in excruciating pain. Who knows what I would be doing to cope with that pain? I wouldn't be able to function. But we have found great relief, even though we still suffer at times with the diets that we are on. And we know this because when we stray from those diets, we get pain. Right now, my shoulder, I've got a torn labrum in this shoulder from racing motocross. I crashed and slammed my shoulder into the face of a jump, and busted up all my ribs on my right side, separating and stretching all the tissues between my ribs. So and my back, my lower back, L4, L5, S1 are herniated in my back, and I have chronic sciatic pain, that kind of stuff. But manageable with the right diet, not manageable with the wrong diet. So I'm still recovering from, listen, I get really bored of eating rice, meat, and eggs and fruit. And salt. I get so bored, and I do have coffee, and I use a little bit of sweetener like coconut palm sugar in my coffee. So I do have coffee and coconut palm sugar and oat milk. The other day I had a almond milk latte. That could have contributed to some of the inflammation because I try to stay away from nuts and seeds. I try to avoid them myself personally. So yeah, those things contribute. I get so frustrated with my bland diet that I was like, ah, Aaron gets to use sour cream on his stuff. He gets to use cheese and things like that. And I don't get to use those kinds of things. And I get so sick and tired of eating the same stuff day in and day out. So I put sriracha on my meal. And it was amazing. Okay. I'm gonna be straight up. It was amazing while I was eating it. It was not amazing shortly after. No, it was not. It hit pretty quickly, the pain and inflammation in my body. So no bread. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I just shared today a reel about it. About just, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to not eat bread. I want to eat bread. I want to eat French toast. I picked up a piece of my kid's French toast today, and I was like, ah, threw it back down on the plate because I can't eat it. It will tear my stomach up. Oh man, awful. And it's homemade bread. So if you guys, last week we talked about all the foods that are banned and all the ingredients that are banned in other countries. We talked about that, and so much of store-bought food, so much of store-bought food, bread has potassium bromate, which causes cancer. And I always refer to a lot of the cheap store-bought breads as yoga mat bread, and there's a reason for that. But it's because of the ingredients that they use to make it like soft and squishy and chewy and delicious and yummy, aren't good for us at all. And if you look at the ingredients, it's way too many ingredients. But I share with you on my channel how to make bread from scratch at home using just water, fat, salt, sugar, wheat, like straight up wheat berries, ground into flour if you need to get that basic, and yeast. So 7 ingredients. Hold on. Water, sugar, salt, fat. Sometimes I add oats to it, sometimes I don't. And then yeast. Did I say flour? And flour. So you can make a bread as simply as sourdough. You only use flour, water, and salt. That's it in sourdough. That's it. So you can have bread at home with 3 ingredients. And I show you on my channel how to make 6 loaves of bread at a time, 9 loaves of bread at a time. You can make a week's worth of bread with your sourdough, or freeze your sourdough and have a month's worth of bread. But I show you how to do it all at once so that your bread is made for the week or for the month. Bulk batch baking sourdough bread. I share that with you guys. That bread only has 3 ingredients. So even your sourdough starter is just water and flour, and you use your sourdough starter to leaven your bread. It is what gives your bread rise. So if you don't want to use commercial yeast, then you can make delicious sourdough with 3 ingredients. And that eliminates the potassium bromate, which helps bread rise, and it's banned in Europe, it's banned in Canada, it's banned in Brazil because it causes cancer. So simplify. Buy a bread machine from the thrift store. They're between $10 and $20, and you can make a daily loaf of bread in your bread machine. No effort from you. You just dump the ingredients in, set your bread machine settings, walk away, boom, in 2.5 hours you have a fresh loaf of baked bread. I make like 4 loaves a week in my bread machine for my kids. Aaron and I don't eat it anymore, but the kids eat it, and I'm able to make them fresh bread every single week. We use it for French toast. We use it for everything. Sandwiches, you name it. And you can also use that same bread dough recipe to make rolls and hamburger buns. It's just a basic daily loaf of bread, and you can use it for all your bread making things. So it's on my channel, daily loaf of bread, and then sourdough bread. If you go to my channel and you use the search bar, you can search these things there, and then that will help. It's seriously, we don't have to, when it's getting ready to snow, we don't run to the store for a loaf of bread, eggs, and milk, because typically we have all those things here. We have milk in our freezer, we have powdered milk, and then we have all the ingredients in bulk, so I can make bread for like the next couple of months straight if I need to, because it's so simple and it's super easy. If I can do it with 5 kids keeping me on my toes, I know that so many of you can. And I used to make, for 6 years, I made only sourdough bread. And I sold it to my community too. I made so much sourdough bread that I was selling it to people for 6 years. Then when I had baby number 5, I said something has to give. And also being in the bread dough all day long was causing my hands to crack and bleed really badly. Dihystrolic eczema. I can't ever pronounce the word, but it's a type of eczema that you get with water exposure. And for me, it was really bad when I ate gluten, when I ate my homemade bread, and when I was constantly working in the bread dough. So when I had baby number 5, I bought bread machines from the thrift store and started making quick yeasted bread for my family, because it saved me time in the kitchen. And then I was still not buying bread from the grocery store with all those ingredients. So I would be able to like put my baby on, wear my baby, throw the ingredients in the bread maker, put it in the things, and go back, sit down, and rock my baby some more. So it freed up so much time for me after baby number 5. And I think if I can do it, bread machines are amazing. Ooh, another book. This book is awesome. I don't even know if they make it anymore. They should. But it's Bread Machine Baking, Perfect Every Time. This has recipes for every major brand bread machine on the market. So this book has it for my machine, which is a Zoju Rishi. I have 2 of them, and I bought both of them from a thrift store, but I always share the links in my videos descriptions for you guys, because a lot of people ask, what bread machine do you use? Well, there, I share it with you down there in the video's description. But it has, so look. This is like for caraway bread. They give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different bread machine breakdown recipes, just for every single recipe in this book. 8 different bread machines. I found this at a thrift store, but you can probably find it on Amazon, or if you just do a Google search for it, you can find the Bread Machine Baking Perfect Every Time book, and by Laura Brody and Millie Apter. So if you're wanting a bread machine, like I said, so many people buy bread machines and they put them in their kitchen. The bread machine doesn't get any use, or lots of churches will buy bread machines. And then, you know, when they clean house, they donate them to the thrift store, and you have nearly new bread machine options. I haven't been to the thrift store in a really long time, you all. I've been doing really good. Ever since the pantry challenge, I've really minimized my grocery shopping, and I've minimized my time out at any stores since Christmas. I'm just hunkered down here, not trying to go shopping or spend any money. I'm still in a bit of a pantry challenge. A lot of the meals that I'm sharing coming up are all meals from the pantry, either foods that I have pre-made and canned in jars, or just meals that I'm using ingredients from my pantry or from my freezers. And we are just trying to still work through as much as we can. And then I sent Aaron to the grocery store. Do you all want to see Aaron's grocery haul? I sent him there for, I think, a bunch of bananas and diapers. And then what he came back with was really impressive. But it's also like funny too. Because it's just like a typical man grocery haul. So I videoed, I recorded it, and I have plans to share it with you guys. Are you interested to see that? No judgment, okay? No judgment. So what if we got 13 bags of pork rinds? Okay. That's the only kind of chip we can eat, he and I. So he stocked up for like 2 months on pork rinds and things like that. So yeah, I don't shop for the sake of just shopping. I like to go to the thrift store and see what they have. For a long time there, I was going to the thrift store every time I went grocery shopping. I was going to look for bread machines. So I would like pop in there and I would just walk back to the electronics section, walk through where they keep the bread machines, examine them. If they had one, if they didn't, I would just walk right out because all I was looking for was a bread machine at that time. So typically that's how I shop, is I try to be like laser focused. I don't want to buy a bunch of random stuff that we don't want or need. So yeah, I don't shop just to shop. I window shop online, but I don't ever really pull the trigger and buy stuff unless it's like emergency preparedness things or things like of that nature. Grocery shopping from Azure Standard, that's coming up. Yes, Zoanne, you want to see his grocery haul? Bless his heart. It actually was a grocery haul he did before he started, before his hip got really bad, and now his hip is just, it's really bad, so he's not doing anything. But it was like the week before last, and I'm just behind, y'all. I'm behind on content. We've had a lot going on, and just trying to take care of our mental health and our physical health has been, I know, you probably don't think we struggle with those things, but we do. We struggle a lot. This winter seasonal depression has been rough. We gotta move south. We gotta get out of the snow. All right, let me read through these comments. Miss Kojak. I think I probably laughed the whole grocery haul. I wasn't like laughing at him. It's just so funny the difference in grocery hauls between me and him. But he'll go and like really stock up on things, whereas like I'm super frugal and I do stock up to a certain extent, but like and when I used to buy him pork rinds, I would go buy all the bags of pork rinds in the grocery store just because I just want to buy them like once a month or once every few months. But it was just funny. He cleaned the store out of pork rinds. But we have these huge snack bins on top of our refrigerators, and that's where we like stick all of our chips and stuff. And so it filled up the snack bins on the refrigerator. So we're supplied for pork rinds. That helps break up our diet a little bit because we eat like basically animal products, fruit, and salt. And then I have rice and I have oats on occasion, and I have oat milk. But because we're so limited, and I get sick and tired of eating meat and rice every night and eggs and rice every morning and then my big smoothie every day. That's basically my diet every single day now since January. And then my cheat days, which I've told you guys, cheat days are not worth it around here. We got too many people to take care of to be in pain. So the pork rinds, because they're made out of, I know some people are cringing because pork rinds gross, but they're just pork skin and salt. That's it. And there's no extra added crazy ingredients. I'm sure that the pigs are probably fed soy. So there's that. But we have to break up our diet a little bit and add a little bit of texture here and there. So another thing we do is if you mash up the pork rinds, if you grind them down to like crumbs, you can coat your chicken. You can dip your chicken in egg, and then you can coat your chicken in pork rinds, and then you can air fry them. Sorry. You can air fry your chicken, and then it's like fried chicken without the gluten and the flour. So it's kind of like keto and all that good stuff. And like I said, Aaron gets to eat dairy. So life's not fair over here because I want some cheese. I can't do it. But y'all, I don't eat cheese, and look how clear my skin is. When I have some like scarring. When I eat cheese, I get gigantic, massive zits that are very, very painful. I get cystic acne, if you know what that is. It's very painful, and I would get like boils and zits and stuff on my neckline and right here and right here. I'd have like a unicorn, and then around my nose. So when I don't eat dairy, doesn't matter what point of my cycle I am in, I might get like a zit, like a small one. but I don't get the cystic acne like when I am on dairy. And so I always preach that out here because I know so many teenagers struggle with cystic acne. And it might be as simple as eliminating dairy completely from their diet. It might be that simple to cure cystic acne, but the doctors with the Accutane and all their toxic acne drugs won't suggest diet change, won't suggest an anti-inflammatory diet, won't suggest an autoimmune diet protocol. So something to keep in mind if you have children. And then you guys know we have our daughter that has dairy allergy, and she's very intolerant to dairy and a bunch of other stuff. So she might be one of those people that would end up with cystic acne if she didn't have allergic reactions to it in other forms. So yeah, crazy. And I've experimented, so I know it's dairy, hands down. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone back on dairy because I'm stubborn and I just want to eat delicious food. I love food. I used to work in like really nice restaurants, and I love food. I love it. I love a variety, and I'll try anything. So it's been a big bummer and an adjustment, mental health and all that stuff, trying to navigate these food intolerances and having to not eat the things I love. I love huge salads with everything on top and ranch dressing and cheese and deliciousness. It's so good. It's like my favorite thing. I put everything. I shared it with you all a while back, but I ate salads for probably a week and then I was like, can't do it. I'm just making myself miserable. But for that week that I was eating those salads, I was so happy in the moment of eating, and then I would inevitably be in pain from it. So, but I wasn't using dairy, cow dairy. I was using goat cheese on those salads. So still wasn't using dairy, but the vegetables and those things were causing problems. Crushed pork rinds, yeah. Some of them were kind of funky. So I'm very picky about the individual pork rind, which ones I'll eat and which ones I won't. Oh no, you have alpha gal, a little Southern Brothers. We're going to have Hagen tested for that when we go see her doctor next for her follow-up, and we also have to get her into an allergist. But so many people have mentioned alpha gal, and the only things that Hagen can eat are chicken, turkey, and fish. She cannot have cod, but she can have other fishes. And then Sarah, to answer your question, how is Hagen feeling lately? She's doing pretty good. We've experimented a little bit with eggs, and so far so good with the eggs. And we found things that she really enjoys. She loves eating rice just like I do, so I make sure to put bone broth and things like that in her rice and the lentils. And we're doing a lot of plant proteins because she just kind of she gets sick of turkey meat and chicken meat. She just, like, that's not fun to her to eat every single day. So we're still working on that, still trying to find ways to get her to have like those protein sources. But for the most part, she's doing, like, you'll see this in the grocery haul, vegan pizzas, and we're just doing anything, vegan ice creams, things like that to help her have things that she will eat. And at this point, we don't care if they have sugar in them or a lot of fat or whatever ingredients, as long as she can tolerate the ingredients. We just want her to eat food at this point. So anything that we can do to get her eating is really important. So, you know, things like vegan pizzas and the vegan ice cream. I'm to the point where I'm like, girlfriend, if that's what you want to have for breakfast, I don't care, just eat something, please. Because she's still dealing with the fear of food because of her reactions. So she's hesitant to eat things, even when I assure her that they are safe. This isn't going to hurt you. This is not on your allergy list. Some things are still like, feel unsafe to her, and that's okay. We know the things that are safe, and we're doing that. She can still have gluten. Thank goodness she can still eat gluten. So she's having bread with her vegan butter and her vegan cream cheese spreads that she likes and her vegan yogurts, that kind of stuff. So she misses meat, though. She loves her meat. So we're going to experiment with some elk and deer and see how she tolerates. I might start with like broth, maybe some meat broth from elk and deer, and probably not beef from the store, probably not any red meats or mammal meats from that are mass produced from the grocery store. Hopefully, if she can tolerate elk and deer, I think we might try beef or something. So no, see, she doesn't have, as far as we know, she doesn't have hives when she eats mammal products. But when she had that test done, it was a blood draw, and they checked for histamines to like 96 different foods, right? It came back with high histamine responses on all mammal meat products. So she tolerated them before her stomach bug, but she had a really gnarly stomach bug. She got it the worst out of, I think I had it, she had it, and Torsten and Bodie. So there was 4 of us that got a stomach bug. She got it and I got it the worst. But when her stomach bug was over and we started reintroducing food, the normal things that she ate before the stomach bug, but we knew were on her allergy list, but she was able to tolerate them because we've done like a gut healing protocol, GAPS diet with her 3 years ago when the allergies first popped up. And eventually we were able to reintroduce all the foods that were on her allergy list. And then I think it was the week before she got the stomach bug, she had an allergic reaction to avocado. Her lips started to swell as she was eating the avocado. That is on her high histamine list. And then, which she'd never reacted before. And then when she got the stomach bug, it was like instantly she could not tolerate. Once she started eating food again, she couldn't tolerate dairy. And that's the one that we're pretty sure is what caused the hives. We know that peanuts are out of the question for her. Now avocados, and yeah, she gets headaches. She gets headaches and belly aches when she eats, when she has certain things too. So yeah, finding foods that are safe and keeping her encouraged. And like for instance, tonight Aaron made a smoothie, but he put cow's milk in the smoothie. And Hagen and I, oh, this is what we did today. We got to sauna. I got to sauna today and shower. So Hagen was hanging out with me in the sauna. Dad made everybody a smoothie. And then she's like, oh, Dad made a smoothie, so I'm going to go out there. Turns out he put milk in the smoothie so she couldn't have it. So I heard this conversation while I was in the sauna. And I piped up. I was like, hey, hon, can you make me a smoothie with oat milk? Because he had told her, he's like, oh, I'll make you a smoothie if you want a smoothie. And she was like, no, it's okay. Don't. She like felt bad that he was going to have to do more effort to make her a smoothie. And nobody was trying to make her feel bad. She just felt like it was a burden, I guess. Maybe she felt like it was a burden. So I just piped up. I was like, hey, hun, can you make me and Hagen an oat milk smoothie? And Dad was like, oh, yeah. He's like, I'll make you and Mom an oat milk smoothie. And she was like, oh, okay. And that made it okay. So just finding ways to be encouraging or to make it to where she doesn't feel like it's an extra step to make her something it's not. It's never like, we just want her to eat and be comfortable and be happy. And we never want it to be like an issue. So just trying to navigate that and keep her on a healthy mental path when it comes to all these foods. Because if you know, I talked about it last week, if you eat dairy, you got to go through those couple of weeks where you're withdrawing from the dairy. Those dairy cravings are intense. So the one way that we curbed dairy cravings and weaning off of dairy in the past was lots of avocados, and she can't have those. Goat cheese, she can't have that. So we used to do lots of eggs. We're experimenting with eggs. She started to feel a little itchy yesterday. What did she have yesterday? I think it was she had some rice and eggs. She just wanted to try like a couple bites of my breakfast, which was rice and eggs. We were just seeing, let's try this. Let's see if you can tolerate them. But after a little while, she started feeling itchy. So Aaron gave her some Benadryl, and that was a rough day from that point on. But she didn't have any further itchiness or any hives or anything from the eggs. So right now it's just kind of like all right, let's give it a couple of days and then we'll try something else again. Maybe we'll try some deer meat, or maybe we'll try some elk meat or whatever. And then we'll give it a couple of days and try something else and just see, experiment. But there's definitely foods that we will not touch right now for her that we're not gonna experiment with. And those we've accidentally had in her diet in the last couple weeks, and no way, not going down that road again. Yeah, eggs are definitely a high histamine food, which is such a shame because eggs are such a perfect food. But a lot of chickens are fed soy and things like that that are that can cause histamine issues for some people. So buying soy-free eggs is an option. They do have certified soy-free eggs, and the certified pasture-raised chickens that don't get fed supplemental feeds and things like that. Tough to find. It would be better if we just raised our own chickens. But you guys know about that. Well, you don't. We don't know how long we're going to be here, so making the investment into chickens again, just out of the question. Making the investment and getting pigs again and raising them to slaughter, we've done in the past, out of the question, because as soon as Aaron's retired from the military, and if the market hasn't crashed, if the market stays where it's at, we're selling and moving as soon as he's retired from the military. But if the market crashes, we're going to stick around here until the market picks back up, and then we'll move. That's where we're at right now. The predictions right now aren't looking so good for our market, is it? With the banks having their issues, oh my goodness, are we going to be here? Yeah, it depends on what you're feeding your chickens. So if you can let your chickens free range and eat what they're naturally going to eat and don't feed them any feed mixes that contain any kind of soy or anything like that, or even grain mixes that are going to have gluten products in them if you're sensitive to that. I mean, you know how doctors say, like, what you eat doesn't matter in your breast milk. Like, you can eat whatever you want to. It won't affect your baby. Your body filters all that stuff out. Bull malarkey. And the same thing with chickens. They can still trigger allergies if you are intolerant to the chicken's diet. So that's my belief. And I know that just the egg whites and things like that are highly histamine producing. So just got to be careful. Just gotta be careful. Hives are awful. Goodness, I should show you guys pictures of some of the reactions that I've had over the last 2 years. And before I got pregnant with Bodhi, I was pregnant twice and miscarried. And in both of those pregnancies, I had hive and histamine responses to different foods and different products that I used on my face. I had a couple days where, thank goodness Aaron was out of town. Oh my goodness, I looked horrible. My eyes were completely swollen shut. Thank goodness he was out of town and he didn't see me like that, but I did take pictures because it was insane. And then I've had instances where I've broke out in horrendous hives as well. But that was when I was pregnant and then miscarried, and then I started taking antihistamines with Bodhi and kept his pregnancy, and then he went to term and everything like that. That was good. But that was really right when COVID started, and I had those pregnancies. That's when all of my issues with food and food intolerances started. I got COVID, and I don't know what it did. I got it the worst out of everybody in my family. I had long COVID. Didn't talk about it too much on here because nobody likes a Debbie Downer and someone that's sick for months on end. So I just faked it, faked it really good. And ever since then, it's just wrecked my gut. I need to do a gut reset again. I did one before I got pregnant with Bodhi. I did a whole gut reset and got on histamines. I was taking Benadryl in his pregnancy up until 20 weeks. And I was also taking baby aspirin because one of my miscarriages was the result of, well, it was the result of multiple things, but a subchorionic hemorrhage, which means my placenta separated or didn't attach correctly to the wall and just was like bleeding out. So, yeah. reactions are horrible. And so when you have those kinds of reactions, you don't want to go near that stuff anymore. So I started having the celiac reactions a year and a month ago. Started having the gut pain after eating gluten. And so just found out that I have celiac about a month ago. So I continued to eat gluten, even though it gave me gut pain, because I was like, I have to have a reason. Someone's going to have to tell me that I have something wrong with me, that I can't eat my bread. You're going to have to tell me there's a reason I can't eat my bread. And then when they said, you have celiac, I was like, okay, I won't eat bread anymore. Even though I knew that's what it was that was causing my stomach pain, I was in denial and I was mad at the world because it's not fair. That's what you go through. And that's like what my daughter's going through now. You get mad that everybody else gets to eat these things and you don't get to eat them. And then you do the, oh, poor me. Life's not fair. Good night, Zoanne. Oh, I thought you said I need a rest. You need a gut rest. I think I need a rest. Yes, a gut reset, Zoanne. There is lots of protocols out there to do a complete gut cleanse, gut reset, and I made videos about it when I did it. I'm pretty sure I shared all about that. It was 2 years ago, springtime, 2021, 2020 maybe. Shared about all that, did an oat test, an organic acids test, a urinalysis test that tests for all kinds of issues. And then recently had an ANA test. And then the ANA test, now I have to go see a immunologist, an allergist, an immunologist that specializes in allergies, and a rheumatologist. So those are my next stops, which as long as I'm managing my symptoms myself with my diet, I don't really feel the need to go for treatment. But I'm curious what allopathic medicine has to say about these autoimmune diseases and what their solutions are for improving my immune system with an immunoglobulin subclass 4 deficiency, which means I can't produce any immunoglobulins to ear, nose, and throat chest infections, bacteria, and viruses. The range is like 1 to 136-ish, and I'm at a 1. So I don't produce the proteins necessary to fight those bacteria infections, so I get sick. A lot. So our bodies are so crazy. And then so many people don't understand if we're so healthy and we've, got sober. The one thing sobriety did for Aaron was he had, and this was like the wake up call why we quit drinking alcohol altogether, is because he had fatty liver disease a year and a half ago, was diagnosed with that. And so a year and a half ago, cold turkey quit drinking alcohol, just one day decided that was it for us. It's poison and it was poisoning us. So eliminated that from our life. It's so prevalent in our culture to drink alcohol to celebrate every single occasion. And then when you quit drinking alcohol, you also lose you lose a lot. You lose some friendships. Things kind of like shift and change because you no longer want to be around that atmosphere. We don't want our kids to be around it. I grew up around it. My siblings, everybody drinks. We went back for Aaron's mom's funeral and we stayed sober amidst so many people drinking around us. And I just think it's amazing. And it's helped our health in numerous ways. But at the same time, we still have our health struggles. So if y'all ever need help quitting alcohol, you can feel free to reach out to me anytime. I always say it's one day at a time. You just have to leave the grocery store without going down the wine aisle, without going down the beer aisle. You just have to make it home without stopping at the gas station to get alcohol. You just make it home, and once you make it home, you just got to make it through the night. Got to start all over the next day. You just got to make it one moment at a time. If you need to quit drinking, if you need inspiration, if you need help, just know it's one moment, one decision at a time. And you just got to get through those moments. Those moments become days. Those days become weeks. And the next thing you know, you're 16 months sober and you're going, praise the Lord. Never thought I would get here. Never thought I would get here because the longest I went was my pregnancies. So I would go like 10 months without drinking, and then a couple months after giving birth, or, you know, it would creep back in. Alcohol would creep back in for me always, but not when I was pregnant. So real happy about that. Always here to support anybody who wants to travel the path to sobriety in any way that I can, judgment free, because I know what it's like to be judged for habits, sketchy habits, let's say. So how we quit, if anybody wants to know, I started drinking tea profusely and Aaron started drinking bubbly. So instead of beers, he wanted carbonated drinks. Instead of wine, I just substituted wine with tea. So instead of having a glass of wine or a bottle of wine a few times a week, I just started drinking tea every night. Yeah, Kathy, that's right. And I wish that I didn't start drinking. I started drinking when I was 12 and like stealing beer from my mom when I was 12 and stealing it from my brothers because they partied all the time. I have 4 older brothers and my mom allowed them to party at our house. And when they were in high school, like they would have huge parties and me and my sisters would be there, my little sister. And I would go and like at 12 years old, I was like stealing beers from my brothers. It was so bad, but I just didn't have any supervision or guidance or repercussions or consequences or anything. It was just a free-for-all. It was a free-for-all. You know, I wish it was the fix-it-all for my health too, Hannah. It's so frustrating, but it did. Aaron's fatty liver disease is gone. So he quit drinking alcohol and the fatty liver disease disappeared within a few months. So that's not a death sentence. That's not an end-all be-all. If there is something like that going on, it can be cured. But not everything can, unfortunately. All right, you guys got any questions? So if you missed it, tonight we got off topic because I just go over stuff quick. We got off topic, but we talked about what if the grid goes down, what's your game plan? If you want to rewatch this with your pencil and paper, you can do that. If you want to support the channel, I have channel memberships on my homepage, and there are super thanks on every single video. If you find this information valuable and you want to support this channel and keep it going, pay me. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to, but it's definitely appreciated. It helps me produce videos. It helps keep this channel going. And people are like, what do you mean it keeps the channel going? Can't you just make videos and YouTube pays you? Well, yes and no. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. So we appreciate any additional support that comes our way. This is what is replacing, hopefully, YouTube can replace some lost income from when Aaron is retired and I am his full-time caregiver. So when his military career is over, that we're able to make enough money with my business endeavors that we can still live as comfortably as we do now, which still is like lower middle class. But that's okay. As long as we can stay in that range and keep this channel up and going. We've got a lot of stuff coming up in the future, and I hope you guys are here for it. If you don't want to join to be a member and you don't want to do super thanks and all that stuff, I am totally fine with that. I just throw it out there because a lot of people have said, hey, how can we help you out? We've had people that have wanted to help us out with our travel expenses and things like that, because that's all out of pocket for all of this stuff for Aaron, and we don't have doctors here. We have to travel 3 hours and 2 hours to see specialists for his care and for my care. So anyways, it's a lot, but we appreciate y'all being here. Give this video a like if you've been here this long. That helps too. That is like the biggest help that you can do is click that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel, because that is more than enough. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm grateful for all of you all being here and hanging out with me Monday nights. If you have ideas what to talk about next week, I am all ears, because we need some inspiration for next week. I just haven't come up with anything. I was doing really good 2 weeks ago. I planned out 3 weeks worth of lives And now I'm just kind of like, what do we do now? Maybe next live we'll start some seeds. Is it seed starting season already? We want to start some seeds. And then I am going to get this packet of seeds out to Miss Kojak. Thank you guys. Hi Autumn, glad you could be here tonight. A little Southern Brothers, pork rinds. Pork rinds are life. Your 1-year-old granddaughter was getting constipation from yogurt, organic plain yogurt. Yep. That is another thing with our toddlers. We have to, Kathy, I know you are here still or you are not, but our toddlers, severe constipation from too much dairy. So we have to be very careful and monitor our toddlers until they're about 5 years old, 4, 5 years old. And even then, we still all have to watch the dairy intake because my kids can become incredibly, terribly constipated. And it happened one time to one of our kids, and we traveled to Virginia, and we had family, like feeding our kids cheese, and then we were like, hey, they can't really have that much cheese. And then we would have like macaroni cheese and yogurt, and then it was like, oh my goodness. And one of our kids ended up like horrendously constipated. It was awful. Got through that, but it was our allergy kid, and it's just, yes, yogurt can constipate them. Like cheese snacks, like the Cheetos and things like that, any of that stuff, even like the macaroni and cheese from the stores, the highly processed stuff, all that stuff is just, can be yogurt, surprisingly, organic yogurt, even raw dairy. We didn't have too much trouble with raw dairy. And that's one thing Hagen's bummed about. Right when she started having dairy reactions, we now get raw milk from somewhere, like it's far away from here, but we get raw milk from a farm that's about an hour away from us. And she's so bummed, super bummed that she cannot have that raw milk, because her thing was coming home every day from school and just a huge glass of milk. She loves milk. So, but she loves the oat milk. I'm sharing that recipe this week. I told you guys last week my oat milk recipe, but I'm going to share that this week. I'm also going to share a meals of the week, a cooking video, and I did a little living room update, office space refresh. We got another standing desk for Aaron to use for all of his stuff. So I'm going to share a little bit about that with you guys. So we got those videos coming up this week. Yeah, a gut reset. So Zoanne, a gut reset is like GAPS diet. Look up GAPS, GAPS diet. And that's how you reset your gut. Gut autoimmune protocol. So if you can heal your gut, you can heal your body, is the thought. And it works. It's supposed to work really well for autoimmune diseases. I just need to really buckle down and do GAPS myself. Hagen needs to do GAPS, but we're on our elimination diets and doing well. Oh, homesteading hustle. Sarah, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I don't know. That's probably best because YouTube takes a huge chunk. But you guys don't have to do that. I just like to let people know that those options are available, but I don't like want anything. Just some people do want to support in that way, and so I just throw it out there for those that want to support. And then some people are super supportive, sending cards and things like that, and that means a lot because we don't get cards from family. Well, we do. Aaron's side, his sister and dad send us cards, but kids don't have grandmas and things like that. And we just had our baby's birthday, and birthdays are always really hard for me. They're not hard for the kids because the kids don't know any different. But for me, I'm like, another birthday where we don't have any grandma. And so that's been, and no birthday cards for our little ones. That's like, I don't know. That's just me though. They don't know any different. They used to get things from their mama when she was living. she'd send like little care packages with little goodies that she finds. Erin's toys. We have so many of Erin's toys that she would find in her house, and she'd send them to us, and it was just like real special. So thank you guys for being supportive and for being here, just watching and liking and subscribing. Thank you. High fives. Love y'all so much. Yes, look into gaps, Hannah. Oh, I was sharing my links to my lives in the weeks prior, and then today I was so late that I didn't share on my social medias. And so usually we have like 50 viewers at a time, like around 50 to 75 people viewing, and that's when I share it on Instagram and Facebook, and I didn't share it tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so it's dark outside now. I love you, Aaron. The quest is Aaron. You guys, he's the last one that commented. If you want to subscribe to his channel, eventually, probably springtime when we're outside a lot more and doing a lot more springtime activities, he'll be sharing some videos and learning how to post on his YouTube channel. So we hope to get that one up and going too. His is going to be all his stuff, all the things he does. His hunting, his golf, his hanging out with the kids, and that kind of stuff. So he'll probably share more golf-related sports stuff. How do you join? Oh, thank you, Zoanne. If you go to my main YouTube channel page, it'll say join. I think it's, hold on, let me pull up my page real quick. I think it's just a, oh, yep, it just says join. So right here, and there's different options. So right there, it says join. And there's different options, but that's where, as a member, that's where we're gonna share more of our personal life and stuff. And then on my channel, my public stuff is gonna be strictly like food, food related topics, cooking from scratch, that kind of thing. And then we'll probably share more of our life decisions, life choices, and things like that that we have coming up in this next year. In our plans for the future are going to be shared with members only, simply because that keeps the riffraff out and the judgment out and the drama out. And we know that the members, I develop a much closer relationship with my members, and I chat with them on Instagram, and we message and email and all that kind of stuff. So that is just a more of a safe space, and I know that I can trust the people there more, because I know trolls aren't going to be wanting to join as a member, and people that like to harass me about various things that I do and life choices that we make, because we are against the mainstream for the most part, and so many people don't like that, and so many people want to call me out for the choices that I make. I just had like a really nasty comment about Bodhi's birth, and I don't have the space in my head for that or in my heart for that. So I've just got to keep some personal life choices here in the future and things like my kids and stuff like that protected. But I do want to share a little bit more with my members because it's a safe place. So, and if you can't be a member, I still share tons of stuff on my main page. So no big deal. All the good stuff is on my main page too. Yes, YouTube. Yes, Cheryl. They can get over themselves. I have very thin skin. Very thin skin. I take a lot of everything to heart, and wounds. I have a wounded heart, so my husband has a thicker skin than I do, so that's why we go together so well, because he's very much the protector and defender of me and my heart, and it works out pretty well for us. But yes, I have thin skin, and anytime I go to him and I'm like, somebody said this, he puts me in my place real quick and reminds me that what people think of me, that's not my problem, that's their problem. It's not my issue, it's their issue. Because a lot of times I can take people's opinions and make it my issue, and it's not. it's not, it's their problem. It's their personal whatever. Has nothing to do with me. And so I have to make a thicker skin. So he's my thick skin is what I like to say. For example, I went to the post office the other day. I got a message and it said, your package is at the post office. They will not be able to deliver it to your home. And I gave it a few days. I was like, okay, it's at the post office. And when I had time, I made the trip to town specifically to go to that post office because my stuff was there. And I went in and I got some passport paperwork. So it wasn't like all bust, but I went in there and I went and got my passport papers and they were out. So I went up to the desk and I was like, I need some passport papers. And he hands them to me and then he just turns around and walks away. And so I just stood there. I was like, I needed some other stuff. So I just sat there and I was just like waiting. And then like a few minutes go by because I won't speak up. And he goes, oh, did you need something else? And I was like, yes, I actually have packages. I live out in such and such. And we were told that our packages were here, that they couldn't be delivered. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm not going to go dig in that pile of packages and find your package. That would take me an hour and a half. I'm not doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. I got a notification that my package was ready to be picked up here. And I drove all the way here to get it. And he was just like, I'm not digging in that pile. And I was like, really? You're okay. Thank you. Have a good day. And I just kind of walked out and I immediately messaged Aaron and I was like, hey, they have my package here, but they don't want to find it for me. So I don't know what to do. I guess I'm just going to have to wait a few more days. I've already waited. I've already waited 8 days for this package from the day it was supposed to be delivered 8 days prior and it still wasn't delivered. And then I go to pick it up, make a special trip into town to pick it up, and I still can't get it. I get it. They're overwhelmed. But I just I don't stand up for myself. And then he was like, that's it. I'm calling them. And I was like, no, don't call them. They're overwhelmed. Like, just leave them alone. But he wanted to call them and tried calling them. Nobody answered the phone. But he tried multiple times to call them because he was going to say, find my wife's package. And because I wasn't going to say that. And he was just going to be the one to say, find my wife's package. She's coming back in there to get it. You're going to find the package. It was really out of my hands. But I'm just not the person that's going to, stand up for myself. My little sister, she's great at it. She stands up for herself. She doesn't let, the mechanic mess her over. She doesn't let anybody mess her over. She's, going to stand up for herself. But I am the person that's going to say, okay, sorry, I don't want to bother you. And that's kind of my downfall in a lot of ways. But I'm lucky that I have people in my life that are not pushovers because that kind of helps me a little bit. Helps give me some strength to not be such a pushover. I had to learn to set boundaries a couple years ago, and I'm doing pretty good with that. And I had to say, I'm not going to attend these kind of births. I'm not going to support this type of situation, XYZ, for my own mental health and mental well-being. I had to set boundaries in my personal career, my personal business, which is I'm a doula. I'm a birth and postpartum doula. And I have not been a doula probably the last 6 months. I'm doing postpartum work, but I'm not doing the on-call birth work at this time. I had to put that on the back burner, but I'm still doing, I do placenta encapsulation. I'm a placenta encapsulation specialist. I don't really share that on my channel a whole lot. And I do postpartum work where I support moms in their postpartum, go to their house for a couple hours a day, that kind of thing, and help them with breastfeeding or folding laundry or holding the baby so they can go take a shower or whatever it is that they need, making their sitz bath, that kind of thing. I still do that when I'm called to do that kind of work, but I'm not actively pursuing it. I have repeat clients who are amazing, having lots of babies, and that's really awesome. Some of them have babies every year, and that's really amazing. I think such strong, amazing women that I get to be blessed to be around. So that's one part of my life I don't share on here. I've shared a little bit, but Again, it's not really related to scratch food, so I don't share a whole lot. Previous to this past year, I did, but this past year I've focused primarily on foods made from scratch, food storage, food preparation, that kind of stuff, homemaking kind of stuff. So yeah, I originally wanted this channel to be a birth and natural parenting channel, and I just didn't do well with, I just wasn't able to niche down because I also wanted to share about sourdough and foods made from scratch. And a lot of people don't want to see both those things. A lot of people like the niche down. They watch a channel for one specific thing. They don't really watch it for a broad variety of things. And in this house, we like to do a broad variety of things. And that's just me. I'm just into way too many things, and I love way too many things to be able to say, I'm only going to do this. But I'm trying. And I appreciate y'all for being here. You got a letter from somebody at the P.O. box? That's terrible. People are way too critical. Yeah, they wasted a stamp for sure. Sarah, I think your channel is very much a homesteading hustle channel because you share recipes, you share chicken hacks, you share all your cool, like all the things that you do. I like it. I'm into it. I wanted mine to be a homesteading channel too, but because I don't have chickens or pigs anymore and we're in this transition, I just don't feel like at this time. But someone also said homesteading is a state of mind. And we have enough land to homestead and to have those things, and we have in the past, and we were really like into it. But this last year, my brain's gone to mush, and all the extra effort is gone to taking care of Aaron and the kids and myself. So yeah, it's like if we raised animals to slaughter, and we have a cross-country move and moving all that meat or giving it to friends, it's just hassle. So that's why we're like, because I kind of want to get meat birds. I'm like, let's get some meat chickens, right? Let's get some meat chickens, because how easy and amazing. And plus Hagen can eat chicken, and if we raise the chickens ourselves and we're feeding them, and we're feeding them in a way that is healthy for her, and healthy for all of us, really. I would love to raise some chickens to slaughter because they don't take that much time. But raising chickens to have eggs from chicks, you're looking 6 months out before you have any eggs. And so 6 months from now, we don't know where we're going to be. So I'm not going to raise chickens again because we raised them. We bought chicks almost every year that we've lived here. So the past like 6 or 7 years, we've bought chickens. And then last year, about a year and a half ago, we gave our flock away to our real estate agent because we were planning to sell back then. A year and a half ago, you guys. This is how long we've been in this limbo. I just don't want to be in limbo anymore. I'm ready to be either exploring the world or settled back down. So we're still trying to figure that out too. But yeah, a year and a half ago, we thought it was done. We thought we were done in Oregon and we were going to be moving. So we downsized a bunch and purged a bunch and gave our chickens away and did all this stuff. And then now it's like, oh, we shouldn't have gave our chickens away so soon. We should have waited till our house sold and then addressed the chicken situation. So yeah, maybe we'll do meat chickens. And I said the other day, I was like, well, maybe we just raise some chickens because the kids can raise chickens and they love chickens. I have got like the cutest videos of my toddlers snuggling chickens and stuff. Oh my gosh, Bodhi needs some chickens. Annika needs some chickens. Am I right? And I can always sell them or give them away to a friend when we move. Even if they're not laying eggs and they just take up a bunch of money and feed. We have enough worms and stuff here and bugs that they can eat. So, but my goodness, wouldn't it be fun if we got each of the kids a little chicken and eat, like all 5 kids had a chicken. Hi, birthday boy. boy. He refuses to wear clothes, so we're not gonna. He busted his eye open today. Which one was it? This one. You guys see that? Do you see your eye? Do you see what you did? What happened? What got you? Was it a bear?
No.
He.
It was a fight.
It was a what?
A fight.
A fight?
A bite.
A bite?
Huh?
A bear bit you?
No.
A bear bit your eye?
Yeah.
A bear fight. That's what we told him when he first did it, and we were like, "Go look in the mirror. You got in a fight with a bear." But really, he fell off. We have like a stationary. What are those bikes called? It's like a resistance bike, and so if you're a CrossFitter, you know. But it's a resistance bike, and he likes to climb on it. But we think he fell off that and hit his eye. I was in the kitchen, and he was playing, and he came in the kitchen crying, holding his eye. And I was like, "What'd you do?" And say, "We have a bloody black eye now." Bye. Can you say bye? Can you tell everybody happy birthday? No happy birthday. No happy birthday. Yeah, he had a birthday this week. He turned 2. Our baby is 2. We're still adjusting to the time change here. All right, bye, Sarah. You were driving that whole time, girl? Goodness. Thank you for hanging out. Everybody go to A Homesteading Hustle and check out Sarah's videos. She's got tons of good stuff over there. Some really good recipes. She made the persimmon galette that we made back in fall. The persimmon cranberry galette. She successfully made that. And she makes so many yummy treats. Oh my goodness. I love the treats that she makes, Sarah. So check out her channel. Then she shares like homesteading hacks because they've got different creatures. They've got, I think you guys have sheep, right? Y'all have some sheep. And she's not on here anymore. But she shares lots of cool stuff over there on her channel. So everybody go follow Sarah at A Homesteading Hustle. She's also a massage therapist. That's her daytime job. And then Homesteading Hustle on the side. Her YouTube channel. But lots of good info there. Yes, Francis, you're right. Waiting for answers is the worst. We've done so much waiting with this, everything going on with the military. We've done so much waiting, But at least now we're in like kind of a predictive process, and we can kind of predict out stages and days of each step in this process that Aaron's in now. So you haven't left yet. You're still gathering up all your bags and your 10 cups of drinks, right? Your coffee mug, your smoothie drink, your water drink, your 3 bags of items you might need for the day. I know how it is. I know how it is when you leave the house. You got to take all that stuff with you, and then you got to load it all back up and carry it out of the car. Is it nighttime? Is everybody out there asleep? Uh-oh, you have to whisper. Thank you for whispering. He just learned how to whisper. All the kids out there are settling down for bed, so I'm going to go and say goodnight and tuck them all in. Aaron does a great job getting them ready for bed and teeth brushed and all that stuff, and then I washed my hair and braided it before the live. If you guys are just snapping on here, I mentioned that we did, for the first time in a month, I got in the sauna finally. We have a little sauna here that we get in that we bought in 2020, I think 2021. And today I did some self-care, saunaed, showered, and now we're gonna go to bed, get this hair dried, go to sleep. Yep, 11:30 here. Good night. You're pooped. Good night, Francis. Good night, Cheryl. Good night, Sarah. Good night. Who else is here? A Little Southern Brothers. I need to know what your first name is, and it's going to take me about a month or 2 to remember it. Just like many of the people on here that have a different handle than their first name, it takes me a little while to remember. So if I ask you again what your name is, it's just because I've got some brain memory recall struggles lately with all this stress going on. But yes, I need to know your first name so that I can talk to you. All right, you guys. Oh, did you see Aaron? Oh, he was on here. Sarah, he was on here and you said hi to him. Oh, he's such a sweetheart. My little elementary school playground, I saw him playing on the playground. He always was crisp, clean. He did not get off the blacktop. He did not go and rumble with the other boys in the grass. He never had grass stains on his pants. He was always neat and tidy. Not the same now. If you saw him today, you would go, what happened? No, I'm just kidding. All right, y'all. I'm going to sign off here and go say goodnight to the kids. Thank you so much for the super thanks. I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you on the next live. Next Monday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you soon. Bye.